right, y'all. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So my name is Brian Rojas. I get the pleasure of kind of just interviewing some of my heroes, guys. So when I came to the Alliance, these are some of the people that I looked up to. So it's a tremendous honor to be interviewing you, Emily, Marvin, and Eric, my guy. So we're gonna go into it. So just so y'all know who's teaching mindset, a little bit about Emily, and I'll have her kind of introduce herself too, but Emily Katz last year did $195,000 in annual premiums by her own pen. Listen to this. Y'all ready? $2.2 million organization right there. Y'all give it up for Emily Katz. Marvin, she's district manager. Marvin Otsoy is national manager. Is that right, Marvin?
That's right.
And his organization did around $290,000 in annual premiums. Y'all give it up for Marvin Otsoy. And my good friend.
Actually, that was my own pen.
Oh, my bad. Oopsies. On his own pen. Y'all give it up for Mr. Marvin. And lastly, Eric Bellaire. Eric Bellaire did on his own pen $366,000 and $1.4 million with an organization. So Emily, kind of tell them a little bit about yourself and how you found the Alliance, and then same thing for Marvin and Eric.
Hey everybody, my name is Emily Cardillo. So my parents go back 34 years with Andy and Jane. I grew up around the business, hanging out around the events. So I knew I wanted the Alliance to be a part of my life. When I turned 18, I got my license, went off to get my bachelor's in business marketing from NC State, was doing the business part-time. I graduated college after 2 years and then moved to Florida and started doing it full-time. So I've been full-time since 2021.
Good job. Marvin, what about you, bud?
Yeah, good morning, y'all. My name is Marvin Otsoy out of Reno, Nevada. I started with the Alliance probably in 2014, but doing nothing for about 7 years or so, because I was just doing 5 policies per year or something, until when you heard last night, a couple of nights ago. So when my needs and my desires met a big opportunity in the Alliance and almost close to go to bankruptcy, so I decided to jump in full, I will say, right in 2020. So basically, I will say I got 5 or 4 years completely in the Alliance, and it's been an amazing journey. Marvin Ozuna introduced me to the Alliance, and I'm just, taking my chance, taking my opportunity here, and doing it out of Reno, Nevada now. This is going to be my 5th year, and don't missing any trip in the Alliance since I got my commitment in 2020. So I'm just shooting for Thailand this year.
Let's go, baby. Good job. Eric Bellaire, go ahead, bud.
My name's Eric Bellaire. I've been with the Alliance since 2008. I got my license in July of that year. I was talking to Bobby. It was the same month that Damon West got arrested. I was thinking, oh my God, look what he's accomplished. So, and he went through pit and prison. Anyhow, so came full-time in 2009, January, my first full-time month, and haven't looked back. First year made 150 grand. Best year's been 575. Yeah, thank you. I will tell you that instead of going in more detail, Andy Albright was. Gave Bobby and I an opportunity to put our story out there. So if you haven't seen it, it's on YouTube. You can just go ahead and Google Crossroads, the Bellaire story, and you'll see more about what the Alliance has been able to do for me and my family.
It's huge. I'm glad you touched on that, because if you weren't going to touch on that, I was going to touch on that and how that story has impacted my life personally. And Eric, I just want to tell you, you're one of my heroes as well, man. So with that, man, let's kind of just pivot into kind of like mindset, right? Because the numbers you guys have put up, it takes something inside of you to do in spite of, right? Because your lives are not perfect, I'm sure, but like you guys have put up results and numbers out there. So like, let's just kind of start with like, having structure, right? How does having structure, Emily, impact your sales mindset?
Structure is incredibly important. Y'all just heard Bell Krause talking about calendar, and knowing what you're going to do every single day when you wake up. If you just start the day and it's like, oh, I don't have anything planned. I mean, I'm guilty of it as anybody. It's like, okay, I don't have anything on the schedule. It's like, all right, I'll wake up at 8, 9. It's like, and then you don't have any intention for the day, and you get to the end of it and it's like, all right, I don't know what I did today. But whenever we have, okay, this is when I'm reading, this is the appointments I have. And even if, like she was talking about, if you don't have a specific client you're meeting with, put it on, I'm meeting clients at this time. And then if you know what your intention is for that time, you're going to find reasons to work. You're going to find people to talk to, and then things are just going to get done.
Love that. Marvin, same question. How does structure impact your sales impact?
Organization is very important. When I organize myself, I'm just looking for the whole year. So I know what is going to happen January, February, March. So I know I structure that way. So for the whole year. However, I just pay attention on the month. And just put attention on the month. I know what's going to happen in January, February, March, the important dates. That's why Alliance is posting special dates during the year, so you know what's going on during the year. But I will say every night I look for my next day. I look for the next day, so how it looks like, and then just go one day at a time. So I'm just going to do something that is specific in my agenda. I was checking my agenda right now for the whole week and say, okay, I got Monday doing some things. So if I put that one in my mind, I know exactly what's going to happen. If somebody approaches me for a schedule or something, I know what time in the morning or the afternoon. But it is very important to be organized in your agenda. And the cool thing is we can just have Google Calendar and wherever are you at, in the computer, in the phone, iPad, or whatever. So you organize. This is very important. If you can organize your time ahead of time, that will be awesome because you know exactly where you're going, where you're shooting. It's not just going anywhere, everywhere, anytime. No, you have a purpose in life. And one day at a time, that's my thing.
I love that. Eric, same thing. How does structure impact your sales mindset?
Well, of course, if you have a plan in place and you wake up every morning with an intentional purpose, like John Maxwell talks in a book, Intentional Living. That book was a fantastic book that Andy Albright asked me to read, and if you haven't read it, I would tell you to get it. But you wake up every day, you start every day with an intention of what you're wanting to accomplish, and every week, every month, every year of what you're wanting to accomplish. And what I hear about, when I hear the word structure, I hear the word infrastructure. And when I started with the Alliance, the 8 steps to success was the heartbeat of my business. And then Andy came out with the Millionaire Maker's Manual you heard Noel talk about. And you talk about staying on a course of success and helping you to succeed with your time and your calendar and your goals. You've got to grasp those 2 books, understand they are a structure of a game plan that all of the successful leaders have followed. They tell you about the tools we have, the Alliance Activity Book that you have to use and be a part of. I've been in this 16 years. And I still use, people go, why don't you get a professional calendar? I love the Alliance Activity Book. It's a calendar. And I use the Alliance Activity Book like clockwork. It's in my room right now because my phone rings out of the blue and I got to plug things into it when people call me because it keeps me structured throughout the week and knowing what my week's going to be.
I love that. I love that. Cool. Y'all give him a hand real quick. It's awesome. So my next question kind of talks a little bit about like maintaining work-life balance, right? So Emily, for you, it's a little different. You're newlywed, right? You're now Mrs. Cordillo. That's right. So like for you, maintaining work-life balance, right? So insurance sales can take over your life if you're not careful. How do you balance hustle with personal time?
I think the first thing is work-life balance is a myth. And if you've never read the book Off Balance, that's a really good read that helped change my perspective on it a lot. But when you what I've seen, honestly, is just more from example with my parents. They involved us in the business. So I don't have kids, can't speak from that perspective, but growing up with them, it wasn't daddy's gone, he's never home, I never get to see him. It was my daddy's out serving our family, he's the hero, he's taking time to go help other families, and in return, we get to go do this. We get to go to Atlantis, we get to do all this cool stuff because of how he is serving. And when you just integrate it all in, like, you guys are my family. Like, it's not, these are my coworkers, these are my friends, this is my family. It's all together. And this business is what allows me to have the lifestyle. So it's just figuring out what your goals are. Now, you can have time where it's just, okay, I'm spending time with my spouse and I'm not answering these phone calls. But if an agent's in the home, I'm not just going to ignore them and leave them stranded because I want to watch this episode of TV. So I think it's just having the priorities overall. And so if it's God, family, business, that's not necessarily how you spend your time, but is what I'm doing impacting these things in that order.
I love that. That's really good. So Marvin, for you, you're a little different. You're not a newlywed, right? But you do have children. You do have a wife, right? You also have a business. You have church. How do you balance this work-life balance that everybody likes to talk about? How do you do it, man?
Yes, this is very important. And I was saying on my speech the other day, I'm eternally grateful to my wife because it's a big supporter into the business. So she was taking care of the kids, now the boys. And what I love the Alliance is it's a family-oriented business. Because my boys now, my oldest one is here, Andres, he's part of the Alliance. So he's doing the Alliance with us. My 3 boys are doing the Alliance. In the beginning, my wife was in charge of the boys, school, things like that, and I was doing quality time with my family. No quantity, because the business can absorb a lot of things. So I was giving quality time, and I got 3 boys, so in order to balance it, I involved them in soccer, because I love soccer and they love soccer. So we play. We created a team with friends, so we play together, because it's got to be different if they play one time, the other one another time. So when they grew up, so we were fortunate to create our own team, and going on Sunday, church. I love to play, so games, and it's a way to be distracted, and also get clients at the same time with a family. So we love to eat. We love to eat together on the weekends.
That's right.
Stay in the home, or sometimes just going out and just enjoy life with them. And it is, as I said, I attract them into the business, or they were attracted to the business somehow, somewhere, and we're doing it together now. And I trying to balance that one with church, sports, business, and traveling, because we're traveling a lot. So my first trip with the Alliance was in Aruba, and I took the whole family with me. I was celebrating with them what we accomplished at that time, and I'm just thankful for the Alliance because it gave us the opportunity to do things in different ways, but always stay, focused on what we do.
That's good. That's awesome, man. Eric, for you, the question's a little different, right? So how do you not, so when you're at work, you're feeling guilty that, like, I know that people think like this. So when you're working, you feel guilty that you're not at home. But then when you're at home, you're feeling guilty that you're not working. How do you handle that train of thought from a elite producer?
It's a great question, because you got family that wants you to do things, a wife that wants you home in bed, or watching TV, and you want to be out there making money so you can have a bigger TV. But anyhow, work. When I was listening to Marvin talk, I'm sorry. It is Marvin. You're both Marvin. I was thinking Marvin. Marvin Asuna. Work is life, and life is work to me. My work is my life, and my life is my work. And my life is my family. And the name of my company is the Bellaire Agency. So it's a family business. And prior to this, we were in the cell phone business. I'll never forget times when I was out with my little daughter, and we were at a grocery store or at a restaurant, and I would give out a business card, and she'd be embarrassed. She goes, "Dad, what are you doing? What are you doing? Leave the lady alone." Whether I was selling cell phones or selling life insurance. And I said, "Maddie, this is how we take you to Disney World. This is how we take you to Paris. This is how we do the things that we do." I don't feel guilty. I don't. I don't feel guilty because my family and I share the same goals. I believe we want the same things. We want freedom, and we want to help other people get it. And I would want to add, even though you changed the question on me, one of the things that makes it easy for somebody to have a work-life balance is hire a really good executive assistant. Hire other really good executive assistants. The reason Andy can put in the N24/7 is because he has a team around him of awesome people. Have you felt it here? Have you seen it here? And we've got some awesome staff. I was just talking to one of the agents out here about how awesome one of my staff is and what I pay him. And it's like priceless when you get staff like that.
That's huge. So, Eric, I want to ask you, so I love your grit, man. I'm a fan of you. I mean, I don't know if you know this, but like 3 months into the business, I almost quit that day because I was getting my butt kicked. And if it wasn't for a product call that you made about policy reviews, I still remember I was at Mandy's Cuban Cafe, baby, crying, eating a big old quarter chicken. And I had to call on, I'm like, I don't even know why I'm listening to this. Today's the day I quit. But he started, I'm spending my last $10 on this big old quarter chicken. I have to listen to freaking Eric Bellaire. He's fired up out of his mind. But that day you did a policy review training. And that changed my whole life, all right? I went from only selling out of 10 policies, 2 policies. I'm sorry, out of 10 homes, I would only sell 2 homes. I went from that to selling 10 out of 10 people, 8 homes, just by you doing that. So my question is, when you've gotten your butt kicked repeatedly in a day, what specific actions or tactics, what are specific actions or tactics that have helped you before you quit?
Pray, like Doc was talking today. When you're going through it, in the middle, that's part of the Crossroads story. I parked in a parking lot and I bawled my eyes out, and that's when the day I almost quit. And I was asking God, I said, God, man, there's got to be a way to get people to say yes. There's got to be a way to overcome the think about it. There's got to be a way to get past this objection about not having money. There's got to be a way of getting over this objection about not, they want to shop around. God, please help me. God, please help me. And, I popped in some audios of some other people that have been with the Alliance and being successful. And it wasn't all in one, but I had to listen to several, like my call to you, and just staying involved and staying in tune to what others have accomplished and having that faith and that belief that it was available to me, and I just needed to put the pieces of the puzzle together. I swear to you, it's in the Crossroads video. I left that parking lot after bawling my eyes out and thinking my life was still over. And I went out and I closed homes after homes after homes, and it worked just like God said it would work. And I know you might think I'm crazy and Doc's crazy and people are crazy when you say you hear the word of God, but I'm telling you, let me tell them real quick. So one of them was think about it, and I got it all the time, and it pulls the heart out of your chest. It just puts it on the floor, and you're going like, I drove here an hour and a half. Thanks for doing that. Appreciate it. But God said, Eric, say it first. Say it first. As soon as you sit down, tell them there's nothing to think about. Say that they don't need to shop around. You're doing the shopping for them. Say it first. Tell them, Eric, you don't need their money today. All you're going to do is take a routing number and a checking account, and if it gets approved, then it will come out of their account. Say it first, Eric. That way you don't got to deal with it, and you're not going to have to hear it from them, and you have the power.
Come on.
And I said it to the first 3 couples, and I swear to God, and I got them to agree to it. Right, nothing to think about. And I swear to God, for the love of you, God, this man says to his wife, I don't know, I think we're going to have to think about it. And the wife looked at the man and says, didn't you hear what he said? We don't have to think about it. I knew right then. The angels had said, woohoo, baby! Three appointments in a row. Same thing happened the next one. It was different, though. The wife said it to the husband. The wife said, I think we have to think about it. He looked at the wife and says, honey, didn't you say about 10 minutes ago he wrote it even down? We don't have to think about it. They're going to think about it first. They don't know if they're even going to approve us. They got to think about it. Let them think about it. Oh, my God. Just have faith, belief. Watch everybody else has done it before you, and don't give up.
I love that. Thank you so much. So Marvin, the same question to you. What are some tactics? What are some action steps that you have taken when you know you're on the verge of just quitting, right? That you have done that have kind of helped you not quit?
Yeah, great question. Great question, yeah. Well, a lot of things, but I organize the no in a specific group, and I name that group Next Opportunity, because eventually I'm going to review them, and as I said, shift an approach next time, using testimonies, real testimonies about people. I just look up at the website that they're asking for money for burials and things like that.
Like GoFundMe?
GoFunding, yeah, GoFunding, and just ask some stories and say, look at this GoFunding, so I don't want you to be in this position or so. So I just put that group and look for an opportunity to approach those people again. Different situation, not going straight to the life, but just through testimonies. What's going on in the neighborhood, in the family, at work, with co-workers, with friends. So I'm just pointing out that one, and that encouraged me just to keep going. I know there is a special group of Next Opportunity, and I will approach them later. I'm not throwing that lead or that person away in the trash or something. It's there. Yeah. And I know that eventually they are coming back to me saying, you are right, you were right. I don't have any job now. I lost the benefits at work, so now we need it. So that's why, listen, Eric, listen, you guys on YouTube. So the Alliance is my favorite channel because I can pick different products, and I know how to approach different people and how to say things and just get back with my confidence again.
That's really good. That's awesome, man. All right, so Emily, I want to kind of twist it up a little bit. So let's talk about like when you first started dialing and some mistakes that now in hindsight you know that you made when you first started versus now when you start dialing Monday morning, right? What was your approach before and now, like you're watching yourself before and like, that was so crazy. Why did I do that, right? Versus now when you get in it and you know you are Emily Cardillo and you're going to sit there and you're going to book some appointments. What are some mistakes that you see new people doing that you just don't do anymore because you've learned? Can you give them some tips?
The first thing I think is the way you prepare for it. And
tell them.
What Belle was talking about on stage of preparing to do the thing is not doing the thing. So getting up at 8 a.m. and spending an hour getting your leads printed and preparing the space and all of that, that is not an hour of dial time. That is an hour of preparing time, but it is not you dialing. And so if you need to get up at 7 to be able to get on the phones at 8, that's extra work. And so just being intentional. And I know at the beginning it's like, okay, all right, perfect, sitting down to dial. Now this is when I get to organize my desk. This is whenever I'm setting up my calendar. And now it's like, okay, that's done the night before so that I can just wake up and go right into it. And then I think the biggest thing for me was probably mindset while dialing. And that's come through just hearing all the leaders, like hanging out in the Treasure Island office with you and seeing your mindset going into dialing. And are we talking to ourselves like Damon West was talking about yesterday? Because as soon as there's silence in my head, it's like the ringing and it's like, oh, they're going to hang up on me or they're not going to like me. And if I'm not intentional about saying, Mary is excited to meet me, Mary's excited to book this appointment, she's been waiting for my phone call, and going through that over and over again, because the second there's silence, that ringing can just get really loud. And just being intentional with the words and the mindset going into it. Because if our mindset's not right and we get on the phone and we act like we're not supposed to be calling them, they're going to not book an appointment with them because it looks sketchy. when we go in with the confidence of we are the professionals, they have asked for our help, it's a totally different mindset, it's a totally different conversation.
It's huge. It's huge. So Eric, this question's for you, kind of like piggyback off like what she's talking about. Now you've made dials, right? To prepare for appointments. What are some, so Big Mike taught me this. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. So what are some ways that you prepare properly, right? Before going into clients' homes? What do you have with you? What are some stuff that you do to prepare properly to make sure that when you're in a home, you're closing the deal?
So basically, what I found in the beginning was that I didn't want to break contact with the client. I didn't want to have issues with the client. And I had that happen in my first 6 months here, when I'd have to say, hold on, I go to my car. Hold on, I got to go to my car.
That part.
So I went like, this sucks, because now they're talking about me and I don't have the control anymore. So what I created was a kit, and we now call it a milk crate in your car. You got a milk crate in your car, you have kits in your car, and in these kits, and I know we got a lot of e-apps now, we got a lot of things you don't need some papers for, but I don't want to go to my car. I don't want to lose that control that I have in getting the application completed. So I bring into the home a kit, and I have a kit that has certain applications in it of certain products that I know will work with pretty much everybody. I have paperwork that has to go with those certain products if things happen to come up that the client brings up to me. And then, of course, that's my life kit. I also bring in there my health kit. So inside of the health kit, I've got maybe a disability policy, an accidental death policy. I've got, a permission to contact for Medicare if they decide they want to talk about that down the road. I don't got to go to my car and come back. I even bring in with me an annuity kit. I have it already with me if I happen to find an opportunity to roll a 401k. So I am very prepared in my mindset of going into the home and knowing exactly, by the way, before I go into the home, a little different shift for some people is I have data and detail about the client. I know things about the client because of how the phone call went, about how I booked the appointment. So I'm going into the home knowing that they have a 3-year-old. I'm going into the home knowing they have an 81-year-old mom that lives there. I'm going into the home knowing that they have a policy they want me to review, and I know the name of the company that it's with because I've already asked these questions prior to getting to the home. So I'm very prepared when I go to the home. And I go to the home with 100% intentionality, knowing what I'm going to do, and they know what my intentions are. Clarity, very crystal clear.
I love that. That's really good. Marvin, I wanted to ask you, there are days where your business is having momentums. I mean, it's effortless, you feel it, it's thriving, but there are also days that numbers are down, volume is down, everything is going haywire, right? What are some things that you have done, some tactics that you have done to pick up the pace, to create that volume and pick it back up? Can you talk a little bit about that? Your creativity, what are some creative things that you've done to pick volume back up, to pick mindset back up and stuff like that?
Yes, it's important because there are some bad days, and how to turn it back on again is just, like Eric was saying, just policy reviews. Making an intention how to call clients and how to see clients. In the case of reviewing policies, gave us the opportunity for cross-selling, different products, different approach. I'm also well prepared with confidence and with the material. And if for any reason internet is not working, iPad is not working, paper apps, paper illustration, in the case of IULs, the green paper, the green sheet, and the ER. Why? Because with the green paper, we can get a financial picture of the person just right there without asking directly if that person has money or not. So you're just asking for information that you can tell. As a professional, I can advise you what's the best according to your personal situation because everybody's is different. So I'm trying to pick my activity again with activity, facing people, talk to people over the phone or in person, but make it intentional to meet that person again, especially for reviews or just giving up the green paper, as I said, or giving my business card or asking for referrals or something, because I'm promoting now in this month, in this week, the review, the free review, the free quoting, the free something. People call the attention when they say free, free, free. It's just, you can quote, but if you say free, I'm just giving free quotes. life insurance or annuities or this or that. So I create some activities in order just to go back again and keep busy with the business. Because if I see nothing in my calendar, I say, I have to do something. I gotta do something this week. Even if I'm just going to soccer or something, but being intentional in whatever activity I'm going to do that particular afternoon, that particular day.
That's strong, man. Y'all give it up for Marvin. That's really good. All right, Emily. So I don't know if you've ever been here before, but I remember going into a house and making a big old sale, right? And then I think to myself, man, I got to do it all over again. Right? So my question to you is handling uncertainty. So how do you stay calm and focused when there's an uncertainty about your next sale or your next paycheck?
Talking to the right people, I think, is the biggest thing. Andy and my dad have both laughed at me on the phone whenever, and it's helpful. It changes your perspective. Like, I will call them and I'm crying and it's like, I'm really worried about this. And it's having people who are like, okay, celebrate this win and do it again. Like, don't get so, Andy talks about like staying on the line. Like you don't want to jump off a bridge because you missed a sale, and you don't want to run through the streets naked because you just made a big sale. And so it's like, okay, get excited. Yes, I did this big app. All right, now I got to do it again. And having like an app count goal rather than a premium goal can be helpful too, because 10 apps one week could be a bunch of money, and 10 apps the next week could be 10 children's apps. And so just rather than having a premium goal, it's like, okay, I made a sale for $5,000, but I still have 9 more applications I need to write this week. That app is equal in terms of how it's viewed. So I think just having coaching consistently and calling people, this is what I've done, what's the next right move for me?
I love that. That's awesome, man. With that, I want to kind of piggyback off of that question. So your first breakthrough, let's kind of talk about that. Can you kind of share a story about the first moment you felt like you made it in insurance sales and how it shaped your mindset?
I don't know that I've made it yet.
In insurance sales.
Probably, I don't know, with this estate planning stuff, and I know there's been moments before, but this estate planning thing has been really cool because I've never been a top annuity producer. And so I remember the biggest annuity I've written prior is $100,000. And whenever I walked out of the house with that check, I was fired up, excited. I was like, okay, I can do this. And now with the estate planning, it's like, okay, let's move this $500,000 over here. We just have one issuing in a few days. It'll be about $467,000. And to think about a year ago, that was unthinkable. And so now it's just the opportunities are bigger, and it's feeling like we're getting a grasp of it and expanding our knowledge has been really cool. Just, okay, I do know what I'm talking about. I can help these people.
I love that. So Marvin, same question for you. Can you talk about your first breakthrough that you felt like, oh my God, I can actually do this? Do you remember that story, the first person you helped? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, one is personal and it's in a team. So personal, when I approach people, and I was saying to myself, so how to ask people about monthly contribution on an IUL? I was saying $25 per week or $100 per month or something like that. But when I was watching other alliance agents with premiums and monthly contributions over, $1,500, $2,000 a month, so I say, so I need to approach people that way. And I was screaming when I was approaching some clients, say, oh yeah, I can put $2,000 a month in an IUL. Wow, so I was trying to, I was not prepared enough, I will say, but eventually, yeah, I was, but it was, okay, I need to shift something and increase it. That's why probably second place in IUL this year, wow, it's just a teamwork.
Say it with your chest, bro. Say it with your chest.
Wow, man, yeah. And thank you. And the other one, it's in a team that then they don't write annuities or something, so I was teaching them how to do it, and the satisfaction of an agent who is in Ricardo's team, finding an annuity for $400,000 and helping them how to do it, and when I saw the face of that agent watching the commission deposited into their account, they, what? what? Just for doing just a connection with you or something? Yeah, but it's your client. Take care of your client and find more of those. Yeah.
Eric, here's a question for you. Dealing with doubters, right? How do you handle negativity from people outside the business who doubt or doubted what the value of what you did when you first started?
Oh, wow. Doubters, man. I really just want to ignore them and walk away from them and don't deal with them because they're so depressing. They don't have belief. They don't want to believe. They don't want to see what's capable and what God has given them the ability to have. It's hard for me to deal with a doubter, dude. That's a really difficult question. I say, look, watch this video, Crossroads. Hey, watch these other videos. Check out this. Check out Andy Albright. I try to show them so that they could see what really is out there to be had. But when somebody is just not a believer and somebody just doesn't have faith in themselves and what's out there to be had because what God's given to others, I can't stick around a doubter, dude. I can't. There's a saying we have, and I use it when I talk about clients. We're looking for electrons, protons, neutrons, and megatrons. We talked about a megatron up here today. Bam, finding out 420. But in that pursuit, we find a lot of morons. And I'm sorry, we can't help them. And I don't mean to throw this out there, but that happens on our pursuit of looking for agents as well. We're looking for, when I say the energy part, the proton, the electron, we're looking for people who have energy, that want to move in the direction we're moving in, that share the same faith that we have, the beliefs that we have. But in that pursuit, and I've been there 16 years, and by the way, I got to say this, and on the way down the elevator today, and God, I needed Doc Rock this morning. Yeah. I needed Doc Rock this morning because one of the things that I've had in my recruiting efforts is patience. The patience to deal with those people that don't see eye to eye with our beliefs. And the first thing he said in there this morning was, don't be impatient. You've got to keep patience. And that's one of the things I wrote down because when I go back home, I've got to continue to deal with it and have patience with it.
I love that. That's great. Eric, I still want to touch with this, right? So you've written and issued over $100,000 already this month. How do you keep going in spite of what others might think, you're successful, right? What drives you? How do you keep going in that mind of not stopping, even though already you've done what most people won't do this year?
I want more. I need more. I want what Andy has. I want what I have a big family. I have 8 kids, 11 grandkids. I was born in a family of poverty. God has put something in me called enthusiasm that just wants to, not only for myself and my family, but for others. I have a real feeling of wanting to be a blessing to people and being a difference maker to people. So even though I might have that income and you could sit there and say, hey, Eric, you could take off the month of February or off the month of March. No. I have a February 1st seminar coming up, and those people need to hear what I have to say. And those people need to know how I can help them. And those people will love me. I got clients that just, oh my God, that they look at me and they think that I'm like the best thing since sliced bread, and I'm nothing. But it's just because of what God has put in me, what the Alliance has put in me, and the way I portray it and communicate it, they're in awe of me. And it's not me, it's what the Alliance and God has put into me. And it's amazing, they look at me and they're in awe of me. But God has put me there to help them, and that's what I'm trying to do.
I love that. That's great. Good job. Marvin, if you can give these folks one last tip of something you could change, right? In hindsight, and looking at like when you first started, what would you have done? Something that you would have done differently if you could start it all over again? And we'll end it with that question.
I regret myself not starting early. So take the decision now to move forward. Nobody else is going to take the decision for you. But do it, Take activity. Just go home and say, I'm going to do it. Even though right now, after this meeting, just start asking for people, recruiting people, the Uber driver, everybody. Just be in love what you do, because you are going to transmit that message to the person around you. But the decision is yours. That's the only decision. Otherwise, this is nothing, this convention, but it's up to you to move forward, and I will see you on the leaderboard on top.
Guys, with that, we are done with this session. It's been my pleasure to interview every single one of you. God bless
Thank
y'all.
you, Brian.